Okay. So good evening, everybody. Now we are going to.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, Doug.
Okay, okay. Oh, got it. Oh, got it. Now we are going to start our second day of our 1 month international short duration course on rural development project management. The first week we discuss about project management, rural development project, and other. And also we had two sessions from Dr. Darko from Ghana regarding the project planning and uh, identification of project and project planning. So that is already done, and I have shared the PPTs and the videos and transcription to all of you. Now, today with us from Bangladesh, from Dhaka, Mr. Tapos Ranjan Chakraborty is the Senior Manager, Climate Change Program, BRAC, Bangladesh. And before that, and leading a big team related to climate change and his specialization on that local based adaptation related to climate change, ICT, women empowerment. And before that, he worked in Oxfam and many other organizations. And he has a vast knowledge in the field of project management. Himself, he is a senior project manager. So he managed a team of 70, right? More than that. And on the issues related to climate change. So it's a global project. So that's why we requested Tapos Ranjan Chakraborty to join from the BRAC. You know the BRAC, nothing news about the BRAC is the world largest NGO having its own university, BRAC University, and many other things also. So we requested him to spare his time, and the topic is stakeholder management. I have already shared the program schedule to all of you. The stakeholder management, because when you are dealing with the project, you have to deal with several types of project project related stakeholder in different phases of the project. So that's why the for sustainability project, the success of the project, it is required that to proper identification who are your stakeholder, and also that manage. And the managing stakeholder is the art, again it's a science to deal with those. It's not on the individual that you are managing, but also institution, organization, government, non-government, several. So for identification of stakeholder, their role, their importance, their influence, in which stage you need, in which form you need, and how to deal with them. So we requested him because as he has deal a number of international project and managing number of stakeholder, but global level to local level, and that's why we requested him. So after this session, he will go to straight away to Dhaka airport to go to the Philippines for another program, and so he is managing time. So that's why I should not go into detail on that. Now over to Mr. Tapos Ranjan Chakraborty. I will request all the participants, please mute yourself. Should not ask any question or anything. And after this session, you should ask this question, or in the meantime, if you have something in your mind, you can keep in the chat box, but not necessary to take the question right now, Taposa. After session, you will, so that flow should not fail, because time is very less for you. And over to Tapos Ranjan Chakraborty once again. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. So, Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary has introduced me. I'm Tapos Ranjan Chakraborty. Now, currently I'm working with BRAC, world largest development organization. But it has a number of sister concerns, including universities, banks, and others. Before that, I was with Oxfam and also some other organizations there. So today, since I'm asked to share you my experience and knowledge that I have gathered from implementing the projects on managing the stakeholders. So I'll go straight to the presentation. I'll use the PowerPoint, but I'll mostly talk to you. So am I audible? And can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So, so if we think that who are the stakeholders, this is very simple. I mean, a stakeholder is someone with an interest or investment in the project. Simply, like when we design a project, definitely we design the project for some people or for some community. So the community for whom we are designing the projects is definitely they are the stakeholder. Simply, this community, since we are designing this project for the community, definitely someone is funding for this in case of the development projects. Also, even for other even research project or government-mandated projects, or where someone is managing the budget or the supporting the budget, the process of budget, and other management or other administrative aspects. So they all are stakeholder. I mean, there are individuals, there are organizations, different forms of stakeholder we have in our project. Sometime we will have some people or group of people who are jealous on our project, or even by implementing this project, they have some risks of losing their development will be interrupted. Like if it is a water management project somewhere, so in the downstreams, there will be some problem, definitely. So even those the people who are living in the downstream, by terminology, they are stakeholder. But in terms of managing management or managing the stakeholders, it's not always necessary to consider the all spectrum of stakeholders. So one thing is very necessary for even in the very beginning of a project, there's the mapping of the stakeholders. And stakeholder mapping has a number of processes. So very common process that we use, this is an importance and influence matrix. And that's quite common matrix, and we'll found it everywhere. Like in the axis, when we consider the importance in the axis, the influence in the x-axis, and in the y, we consider the importance, that how important that particular individual or organization for my project. So by identifying the stakeholders, the influence individuals or group who has somehow an interaction by doing good, bad, even facilitating the project or disturbing the project. So initially we need to identify all of them in a gross. And then we will put them in this matrix. And this matrix is, if we see this in the quadrant 1A, that is who has high importance but low influence. In the B, the group of people or the
Slides are not moving.
Yeah, I'm in the same slide. And in the B, the who has high importance and high influence. And in usually there is some mistakes here. Let me check. It will be C. We have low importance and high influence. And in the D, we put the group or the people or the communities members or the outsiders who has low importance and low influence. This is actually the matrix. And in a stakeholder analysis, we put them in those 4 quadrants. But the process is in a group, or even a single manager do this himself or herself. Sometimes it gives the same result when we work it in together. But as part of a project management, we usually do this stakeholder analysis in a group. I mean, where the different stakeholder can participate, or only the management staff can participate. So if we classify the stakeholders within the organizations, I mean the staff members mostly, and the external stakeholders, they are also the staff members of the donor or the money, the organization for monitoring whom we hire, they are. And the other group is the direct or indirect stakeholders. I mean, the direct stakeholders are there who somehow has been benefited from the project. Usually in terms of monitoring, it's considered somehow they are monetarily benefited. It's not always necessary that from a project, all the stakeholders will be monetarily benefited, but usually in case of project evaluation, consider the direct stakeholder as the stakeholders who has some monetary supports got from the project. Indirect benefit stakeholders are they that who are not directly got benefit. Like if we implement a project for farmers, definitely the farmers are the stakeholder, but here the farmer who has been participated in the training of this project or who got seed supports or any other supports, they are the direct stakeholders. But their family members somehow benefited from this project, they also considered it indirect stakeholder. This is a common practice for the development organizations. And other one is the primary and the secondary stakeholder. Primary stakeholders is the stakeholders for the project being designed, and the secondary stakeholders who are associated or who are somehow linked with the primary stakeholders. Like if we have a project that we have designed for the people who usually go to the forest, collect the forest resource, they are the primary stakeholder of our project. In that case, the Forest Department Authority of the country is the secondary stakeholder. So all the stakeholders are not usually same to a project. Some stakeholders, if we go to the community, and if in the very beginning of your project, if you go to the community, then you will find 4 types of people. One people, definitely your friends somehow, you know them since you are doing a project in some area. If you are from the development agencies, there are some other colleagues in the development organizations. There, and in the society, there are some people who always appreciate. So if you start anything by knowing nothing, I mean, they will appreciate you. And they will never go against you. Those type of community organizations, they are allies. There are some blockers in the society. So the blockers are they always against any new initiative. So if you start any forest project in some areas that you will support the people who are going to the forest to collect the fire, the timber or other things, you will have some people in the community that they will say, oh, no, never go to the forest. If someone enter the forest, they will damage the forest. So always some people are blockers. Even those are very common among the politicians. And other people, they are actually in between. That sometimes they are confused. We call them swinger. That's sometimes they will say, oh, okay, you can do this, but definitely they will have another different opinion from you, or sometimes they will support you in a very easy way. So they are some in a project management or stakeholder management, you need to target those people first, because it's quite easy to convince them in your, for your project, or make them this, okay, they will be being benefited from this project. So they are even a dangerous group. Sometimes the blockers can easily influence them. So that's why they need to be monitored very closely. And others are for starting any project or identifying the stakeholders, we need to find out the champions. In the society, we'll have some people who are champion for this. Even in our culture, the South Asian culture, you sometimes, when the a good economist who is a faculty is doing some community works, or even some are, someone who has a good reputation there. So this is a very necessary thing to identify that in the community who is acting in what way when we design identify the stakeholders. So I need minor correction here. So let me come to the stakeholder management. This is a true management part. We already know in a stakeholder matrix that we have 4 blocks, and in 4 quadrants we find 4 types of people. Usually, in our analysis of stakeholder who has high importance and low influence, they are usually the victims of in this community, and we design project for the people. B is the group of people, the one that can make the difference, and that's why for the success of a project, we need to work with start with the B first, and the people or the stakeholders who are in the quadrant C, they has less importance but high influence. There is also a spelling mistake. Apology for the spelling mistake. And they are sometimes irresponsible. The people who are in the quadrant C, you will find them they're not responsible for the project, and they sometimes will support or may not, like this way. And the quadrant D, who has less importance and less influence, or actually they are bystander. You can make them, if you work with them, you can even upgrade them to the B or A or C. But usually in a project design, you need not to think for the stakeholders who are in D. And when you are a manager and you are managing the stakeholders, definitely the stakeholders who are in B, quadrant B, you need to manage them closely. Giving them, consider them in project design, or in some events, invite them. And for the C, you need to inform them. You need not, you really not need to plan anything, but keep them informed. This is quite necessary. And for the keep them satisfied. Sometimes they need some, they will ask for you or they will demand something. But for the D, you can have a minimum effort and just monitor that. So this is how you can select the quadrant. But the thing is that when you have more budgetary scope or human resource, then you can think on that way. You can start from the corner and gradually come forward. I mean, and for this, we always support having, though this one is the common stakeholder management quadrant, but I've studied in pressure group and organization. They're based in London, so they actually always suggest that use the quadrant that you are seeing in this screen now. That is, divide them based on the influence in 3 categories, and also the blockers, swinger, and the champions. And then if you start from this champion and high influence and gradually coming down, then it will be a very perfect stakeholder management process. But the challenge is sometimes it's not that easy, and even it's not necessary for a regular project or a project that you have designed or you are being implementing for a community development. But sometimes some projects actually work for advocacy or influencing the politicians or influencing some policy documents. In that case, definitely you need to identify the champion and also see who are the blockers. The project that's work for influencing a group of people, or a project that have a policy as an outcome of this project. In that case, the power interest quadrant is the best. But one thing is that power and interest are always changing context. That can easily be changed. Change that we thought that it could happen very fast. Usually in nature, no change is that fast, except the disasters. So, but change is really a stronger thing. And that's why when you started a project, after a few days, your stakeholder may change. One who was in the quadrant A, she can go to quadrant B. So that's why we need to revisit the stakeholder. But it's not really necessary in the very beginning of a project. Like if a project is a 5 years project, then we recommend at least at the 2 years, the end of 2 years, you can revisit whether your stakeholders are same or not. But in some projects, it's not possible. When monitoring system is quite set, for some project like USAID and other organization, they will not allow you, shifting that. But if you have a sufficient rationale to rethinking or the stakeholders position, then it is sometimes it's necessary and it's required for your project. So one thing that manager has her own way of communicating or own way of managing. This is an art, as Dr. Jayanta Chaudhary said in the very beginning. So you need not to go follow a very systemic way always. And sometimes you need to ignore some stakeholders. Sometimes you found that, okay, the behavior of those blockers sometimes coming against or doing some harm of your project. So in that case, you can ignore. If you try to convince, then it will even you need to spend more time or money in stakeholder management. Usually that not happen, but sometimes it happened. Like in Bangladesh, one of our late agriculture minister, she was truly against the NGO intervention. But it's not like that NGO has stopped working then. They have only shifted the choice of stakeholders, because no one is single. No? There are other individuals or organizations who are working towards the same target. But one thing that there are some principles of effective community and stakeholder engagement. With stakeholder, we should have a two-way communication. Sometimes nowadays we use the mobile phone or other things to invite or influence the stakeholder. It become a very one-way communication. We found that one-way communication is not that effective. And to the stakeholder, we will definitely be clear, accurate, and relevant information we always share. Sometimes our project is doing one thing, but there are some issues or aspects which is very urgent for the staff management. It's you need not to share this with the other stakeholders. And the timeliness stakeholder engagement. And definitely project manager or project shouldn't do that. It's surprises the stakeholders. Usually that happened in sometimes for some business intervention that happened. That in a surprising way, we found that we are communicating something that made the stakeholder surprised. But in a development project, we highly recommend doing that. Never to practice this, that the stakeholder surprise. That even if it happens, they will not help in future. And we should be transparent. Another thing is that it's quite necessary having a systematic reporting. Even if you have a stakeholder meeting, formal, informal, even consultation, we suggest to keep a record. Sometime in a consultation, you need not to keep everything like a proceedings or a reporting, but at least the time and where this consultation was, and when we should have a collaboration with the stakeholder and the integrity. Those are the essential thing. And for the stakeholder engagement, this is an universal formula of following that the stakeholders definitely or should be informed, then consult, involved, and we need to celebrate the stakeholders. Even our success, we need to celebrate with the stakeholder to bring them or to make them. One thing is that the community and stakeholders, different community or different stakeholders is different depths. So a manager should have know this. And
somebody are talking, please don't talk.
And also it's require flexibilities, even working with the stakeholders. Managing stakeholders means identifying stakeholders, working with the stakeholders. Managers should have some flexibilities. If the management, the authority is quite rigid, then it's sometimes difficult. Even in my experience, we found that some of our field managers, they sometimes ignore or not share some challenges with us because they know that they can solve the problem that happened with the stakeholders. But the challenge is when we spontaneously interfere in this, in their process. I mean, the one community individual and the manager, there is something between them, but they can solve it when there is no third one is there. But sometimes authorities interfere in this. But this is really harmful. So we here we who are in the management or in as authority, I'll request to give some flexibilities to the manager in managing the stakeholders. So thank you. This was my presentation, and my apology. I was doing this first, that's why I found 2 spelling mistakes there. I'll stop sharing. Okay, so if you have some questions to me, I'll try to answer. Or if you have your suggestions to me, that's, I'll highly appreciate.
Okay, sir. I have a question. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a nice presentation regarding stakeholder analysis. So my question is for any development project. So our thought and our philosophy is the project management, project manager, or something else is going to do something.
Yeah.
This is our, I think it may be wrong or it may be right in our outsider perspective. So you have shown a stakeholder analysis, high importance, influence, 2 components. So another thing you shared some ignorance of the field manager. So as a manager of the desk, you are doing everything. You are implementing the project, you are monitoring the project, but in the field level, field manager, so if they ignore, if they don't make, they try to make distance among your beneficiaries, your stakeholders. So in that case, what are the major role you can play with your field manager that are going to direct beneficiaries or stakeholders?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The practice that I make, and I also found some of my colleagues doing, they actually sit with this field manager and know the cause of these challenges. Usually, we don't even love to interfere or go to the field direct. Like one example, I have in one of my field in BRAC, we are giving some potato seeds. The BRAC potato seeds being produced in our tissue culture lab. This is quite good. So someone who is actually not an ordinary individual, he also has one, he is also a dealer for potato seeds. So he collected seeds from all BRAC and also from other vendors. So a day it was selected for him to come to take the seeds from our manager. So, but he was absent then, and there was some, hard talk between them. So we were informed from some individuals, and then we step on this. And that's actually then from that individual that came to his community. That started amplifying. And finally, we have to apologize for to the community. But the thing is that if it was actually a conflict, it's not a conflict, because our manager was informed that this man is a dealer, but he has somehow got registered as one of our beneficiary stakeholder. So if we let them that it will be solved between the manager and that individual, we can solve it easily. But the challenge is when we interfere, then it's become an issue of the community. Yeah. So we highly recommend that let the manager do first. You better sit with your managers regularly that what is the field situation, but you need not to cross the official hierarchy system. So someone is sitting in Dhaka and all on a sudden jumped in the community, definitely it will not good.
Okay, so thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Another query. In short, I will tell you. So, in other sense, I'm also involved some of the development project. I'm from RDA Gura, Bangladesh. Now I'm doing PhD in University Science Malaysia. Now I'm staying at Malaysia.
Oh, thank you.
So, in some cases, sometimes we face a lot of problem by implementing the project to direct beneficiaries or stakeholders. As for example, so we are implementing a project in a particular area in Bogura district. So we are not getting any cooperation or any kind of help that the project will implement it in that areas for the development of the people of that area, the welfare of the people of that area, but local representatives from that area, they always try to interfere. They always try to create problem. So what is the theme of your project? Why you came here? Why you are implementing? You are doing a lot of things. You are exploiting your project, and blah blah blah. So how you will manage these things?
Okay.
So several times we have faced a lot of problem. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I think you don't have enough time already joined the sir.
It's okay. I'll answer this. If it's happened for many projects in Bangladesh, particularly in two sectors. One sector is agriculture, and another one is the construction area. So the thing is that in a society, you will have some people. My recommendation to your challenge is identify some swing up that whom you can convince. Or if you found that, okay, no one is like this, all of them are blocker, design your intervention by ignoring them. It's not really bad, always, ignoring some challenges. So that happened. Since you are from here, so you know that how Motia Chaudhary act with the development planning. So people, so this is the practice. It's not that challenging here.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any more question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Presenter. Thank you for this, your wonderful presentation on managing the stakeholders in project management. And I want to say that you gave this lecture based on your practical experience in the field, and it was well understood. My question is about ignoring the blockers of a project within a community. Now, if you ignore them, will it not have a negative impact on the project you are bringing to the community or to the group? Will that not cause confusion when you ignore them? I want you to give me the practical ways to manage these blockers, because definitely in one way or the other we can have those that will oppose the project. How do we now, why we ignore them, how do we now make them not to influence the project, especially development projects within a community? One way I'm even thinking that if in the project design, that the project also will emanate, the conception of the project will emanate from the community or from the group that are being targeted, the targeted beneficiaries, I think that we will not have much blockers, because they started the project from the onset, from the conception. I wouldn't think it's so. But ignoring is my problem. How do we now address the issue so that we get and we achieve the goal of the project? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And this is the way that you shared. One thing is that when you will ignore the blockers, when your blocker is extreme blocker, then you ignore. So in a community, in a society, you will not find that, okay, all are extreme. Okay, when initially you will find some blockers, then use your method that you are doing, that sit with them, work with them about the project. Among the blockers who has some ideas or who are not rigid, they may turn from bloggers to the swinger. And then you can convince them and you can easily make them the allies. But the thing is, in some society, some people, they are always, they nurture the negative influence. But like that, your project is a 5 years project or a 2 years project. So the thing is that by this time you have to solve, go to the, achieve the result of this. In that case, you can make ignore. But if the number is that big that you have to ignore a big number of people, then it's not really right. But sometimes you will find that, okay, in a project, in the beginning of a project, you had 20 people who are bloggers. Then you sit with the bloggers. Then you find them, okay, among the 20, the 10 may turn as a swinger, then you make them allies. It's quite easy by investing more time. The process is, the consultation is there. But finally, you will find that, okay, 5 people use, even you can manage in any way. Better you start your project. You start implementing. Let them see what you are doing. And invite them in celebration. You need not to think or you need not to invest for them. So this is the best way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, sir. This is Uttara. So I have one question regarding the sustainability of any developmental project. So you have mentioned 4 types of stakeholders. So my question is, my NGO, they work with government stakeholders, the police, and some of our high importance, high influence stakeholders are actually they get transferred. So if we our project for the duration of 5 years, and for 5 years, for many reasons, these high importance and high influence stakeholders, they may not remain at our intervention area. So in that case, what should be the strategy, and how like in what way we can actually make our project sustainable? Because if we make them champions, some of like the sustainability and also the project being successful also depends on these stakeholders a lot. So
yeah, this is a very common problem in that part of world. It is a common problem for Bangladesh too. Sometimes the frequent transfer of individuals, the system allows that, okay, within 3 years she or he will transfer. Even sometimes there are transfer associated with political decisions and other. So we suggest keeping the right documents and proper documentation. When you found that, okay, you will have such a risk that someone who work with your project is convincing some who is working in the Ministry of Oil or Power, and all of a sudden she transferred to the education. So the best idea is keeping all the documents and highlighting the position, not that individuals. It's true that positions never become champion. The individuals become champion, but this is a challenge for the project when your stakeholder is from government.
yes,
Because this is a process of government. So in that case, more concentration, put concentration to the, the position. Like we have a project in mangrove project in some areas. So Sundarbans.
Yeah.
So we tried to implement the project very close to the Sundarbans. So there are some policy problems. Then we found some individuals who has high interest, but we started highlighting his position, not him as an individual. So we made accountable his position and the other people who are associated with that position.
Okay.
So this is in a way. So, but sometimes it works. But even if you have some opportunities like that he or she has been transferred, but there you got some opportunity to invite him or her in some national days. Even if you have no plan to invite him, try to invite him the events where he can or she can participate. So this is also a way to bring her expertise to other people and giving a sense of being champion to others.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Any other question? Okay. If all of you are satisfied, then definitely we have to move to next and allow Taposa Ranjan Chakraborty to leave this platform, because he can easily then move forward towards airport and other. So, are you okay with that? You satisfied? If you have any question, anything related to the stakeholder and stakeholder.
Okay, sir. We are satisfied, sir. তারপর
Okay.
স্যারকে ছেড়ে দেন স্যার। টাকা দিতে জ্যাম স্যার। জ্যামে পড়লে কিন্তু ফ্লাইট মিস হয়ে যাবে। লস হয়ে যাবে স্যার।
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Taposa Ranjan Chakraborty, for sharing experience. It's a vast experience, we can say, related to and dealing with different categories of people and stakeholder. Mainly we face challenges when there is negative stakeholder. So as he started, again, the jealousy is the cause, maybe the negative stakeholder for that. Even sometimes your authority may be jealous on your own thing, that whether you will be famous or you will be, and they create their own problem. Sometimes they realize, and most of the cases, two things are there, whether we will go for individual and institution. So individual interest and institutional interest. So sometimes people forget what is the individual interest and what is the institutional interest. So within this organization also, sometimes it is very difficult to convince this. So and sometimes it is become very easier that you can deal with external people, right, who are the outside the project, to convince them. Yes, you can give your work hard to manage the community. Even the funding agency may be impressed, but sometimes it becomes very difficult within our own organization. Sometimes the own organization, it is very difficult to manage people. So, but okay, as a project manager, and we have to deal with that. So stakeholder management, particularly the negative stakeholder management, is a very challenging, and we have to make very clear-cut strategy for that, so that it should not hindrance your effort. So okay, we'll come back to other in the meantime. If some question arise, we will get in the chat box, and later part also will share with you. And overall, thank you very much for joining. And when are you coming back from Philippines?
Yeah, I'll come on 30th for 5 days.
30th. Okay, get ready for coming here, because during that time you have to arrange and manage. So
Yeah.
We'll send a letter, and you'll come to that. Okay, thank you, Tabu. You can leave. Okay. Okay. After Tapas Ranjan Chakravarti, today we have another presentation related to project proposal. We have planned that proposal because in our flyer also we mentioned that special emphasis will given to the proposal writing. Proposal writing for different types of project as we have. So different types of proposal, either it's the implementation proposal, either it's a proposal, another proposal we'll share. Our next speaker will come. He will also join from Dhaka, Bangladesh today. The entire thing is from Bangladesh, but he is in a meeting, so he'll join after that part. In the meantime, if we have some questions, and we'll go ahead with that, and then
is usually done is consultation. We start consulting with the leaders of the community. It could be their political leaders, their youth leaders, and all of that. So when we get the community leaders to agree with us, then another thing you paint is the benefits that are going to derive from such a project. And that's where you talked about alternative, and that is very important. So if you give them alternative that they are going to give them pipe-borne water, and then they're going to give them areas of land where the oil may not affect, that will kind of entice them and they will be part of the project. And most importantly is community involvement. When their sons and their daughters are part of the project, they will like to accept the project. And so all of what you have said are very, very important in engagement of stakeholders in any project. So right now, and so on that note, I want to thank you because all that you say just aligned with the things I know by experience and practical experience on the field. But my own project now is that I'm an animal scientist. And so there is high cost of animal protein sources in the country, and that has jacked up the cost of poultry meat and other monogastrics. And so we're looking for alternatives. And the major alternative that we have now is the use of insect meal. And so I started this project, but the issue is to get communities, because already people are thinking that eating of insects, entomophagy, is absurd. How can people be eating insects and stuff like that? And so any moment you talk about insect consumption, people are not ready to accept it, even though they still know that the animal protein is a good protein source. It has a good amino acid profile. But maybe because we have imbibed the Western culture and Western food habits, people don't want to align with that anymore. And then the other ones, we also grow black soldier fly larvae for poultry. Some people will feel so somehow if they hear that this poultry was developed using black soldier fly larvae as the animal protein source. And so that the challenge we are now having is to convince the community, because what we want to have, and that's what they have in Kenya, where we learned this thing, is that they went into the community, organized some groups, clusters of women, men in the communities who are now raising the black soldier fly larvae, so that when you now collect all of what they have, it will be a huge quantity. But here, a lot of people, just like the last speaker said, a lot of people want to just be, will I say bluffers or bloggers, whatever they call themselves, but they are negatively influencing those that want to now adopt the technology. And so that is the challenge I am having. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, almost every project manager, all of you who are dealing with different types of projects, different objectives and goals are different. But you have to deal with the different types of stakeholder in different name. It may be either funding agency, it may be the other way, and dealing stakeholder, it will varies the situation to situation. As I mentioned, a very simple story related to this fishery, and also it varies the manager or the project manager like you, their style, how I am managing, how you will manage to stakeholder, what will the in which form you will manage the stakeholder. It varies the style of. That's why there is a project management. We told in the very beginning, it's a art and science to manage those things. Sometimes even the policies, any country's policies and other, that also create problems. So how you deal with those things. That's why it is important to understand the individual as the group or the institution or the organization, how they are playing a role in your project, entire project. So listing all those, making their importance and the power, how they are going to influence you, in which stages they are looking for, either in the identification stage or in other stage, which stage they are doing, and how best you can get from that involvement and participation. And overall, obviously, the acceptance of the community, what our professor was mentioning, Professor Cordelia was mentioning about that, how you are dealing with the community, how they think that they will be benefited from the project. So this is very crucial, and Mr. Tapas Ranjan Chakraborty rightly mentioned his vast experience in the different handling of different international projects, international stakeholders and other. As we mentioned that he is right now leading, working in the leading organization. That's why, and he is also, Tapas Ranjan Chakraborty is one of the key person for our Global Forum for Sustainable Rural, as a co-founder. He is heading that our climate change, and not only that, we are changing the action research project also. So that's why we requested him to be here. In the meantime, because today entire day is for Dhaka, Bangladesh, which is very near to our India and the place where I am staying. And another colleague from Dhaka now joined here, Abdul Rahman Rana. Rana, are you here?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay, so can you please on your video so that people can see you? Can you on your video? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Ranada is here. Another he is joining from Dhaka, Bangladesh. He is not only. Sorry, just a minute. Ranada, please unmute. Please unmute yourself. Yeah. Okay. And your videos. Okay. So let me little bit introduce. It's a big CV, and it is quite impossible to talk about Abdul Rahman Rana. It will take a lot of time to read his CV. But text of the thing that he's a project entrepreneur. The term I am using as a project entrepreneur, because he himself is an institution. He himself is an organization, and he is running number of international projects in different categories of project consultancy and other. Right now, he is heading the Center for People and Environment, which is completely devoted to working in the field of environment and climate change and other. He took initiative to start the South Asian Conference on the climate change and other allied. So last month he finished the second conference, South Asian Conference on climate change in there. A lot of people from different countries. So it's a dedicatedly not only working in the and running organization, but he is also trying to create platform for that. Recently, he has started with a South Asian Research Hub, which is some organization always think for how to get the project and other. But he thought something differently, and he thought that why not he can start his own project. I mean, they're creating a platform where the young researchers they can also start working on that. Nowadays, everybody is talking about the climate finance, how to get the fund, and he has started this South Asian Research Hub so that other young researchers they can get some. So there are many more. He has more than 60 plus scientific paper. Lot of countries he has visited, and also number of development project, research project, and the consultancy firm and publication and so that's why I told her that there are many more things to talk about that. But let me stop here and request him to join from the Dhaka, Bangladesh right now and talk about because I requested him to talk on that the research project. The research project is not that academic research project only that, but the thing is how as a consultancy firm when they are going to submit a research proposal to that and how they are doing with that, dealing with that. As I told you just before that, the negotiation skill which is he has because the funding agencies are not ready to give whatever you are expecting. So it is also art how we can bring more fund from that. So it's a negotiation, and that the researcher is not only your sound proposal, but it is also skill how you'll bring the fund, right? Your presentation and this negotiation and those. So he is going to share those things to how you are going to bid that. So both the technical and financial bid on that. So with this, let me allow and let me welcome once again on behalf of Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development, and he is also leading our Global Center for Climate Change and Environment. With this, he has also started one brand called Deshiyo Bazaar. You know, Deshiyo Bazaar is a local product. He is in the Dhaka, so he is collecting all the local product from various parts of the Dhaka, I mean Bangladesh, and bring in the Dhaka so that people can get the local flavor and this. So a lot of initiative he has taken, and he is working on that. So I requested him that he can share his journey as for formulation of research proposal and how to negotiate with and this. Over to Abdul Rahman Rana from Dhaka.
Thank you very much, and I am very much grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to talk about this development research. I have found there are a lot of people from different countries, and I think all of these persons are expert on research and development sector. You have mentioned a lot of things about me, but I am not. I have a limited time because I have another event within short time, so I have to discuss shortly about the development research project in the context of Bangladesh. There is a study title. Our organization, and I am also especially on ECOI. I am especially on climate researcher, and my special focus on climate change and climate related cost cutting issues. There is a title, a study on climate change impacts and priority adaptation measures for selected urban areas in Bangladesh. Recently, we have conducted this study in different urban areas of Bangladesh, and maybe this is the only one study in Bangladesh in terms of urban adaptation practices. And it's a fundamental document for Bangladesh government to promote climate resilient livelihood in 13 urban areas of Bangladesh. Among those, 5 are large city corporation and 8 are our small municipality. So based on this title, we have developed the project proposal, and I would like to present here what types of information we need to generate and how we need to generate to finalize the research. Development research is not academic, but we have developed something there. Academic and development both are blended here to develop the successful research proposal for development sector. At first, we need to understand what is the problem regarding the specific issue. Here I have mentioned our focus on urban adaptation resilience and urban livelihood resilience. So we have find out at first what is the problem regarding the climate change and connected to urban adaptation issues in Bangladesh. So if we develop the presentation or if we develop the proposal or any concept, we need to understand what is the specific problem regarding this issue connected to root cause. Here root cause is climate, and our problem is climate adaptation in the multi-sectoral issue and also livelihoods. So we have developed this background. In Bangladesh, we know climate, hydrometeorological disasters like climate, cyclone and storm surge. It's a in the southern belt of Bangladesh, so we have put it there. And salinity intrusion is also a problem of coastal cities of Bangladesh, and water logging. All of the country in urban area, water logging is the crucial problem in Bangladesh, and flood. Some parts of Bangladesh is vulnerable for flood, including urban areas, and unusual rainfall and drought in northern part of Bangladesh. So our study area was different climatic hotspot of Bangladesh. So we have develop our background based on the all kinds of hydrometeorological problems in Bangladesh, how these are connected with our vulnerability, and we are how we have mentioned here. Cyclone and storm surge is responsible for damaging infrastructure and properties of urban area and damage to domestic and commercial assets. Salinity is related to scarcity of fresh water, waterborne disease and reproductive health problem, waterlogging, communication hardship, pollution and waterborne disease. So these are the almost our background. So if we want to develop any development research project, we need to understand our problem and how this is connected to root cause. We need to develop a theory of change. Almost this is a theory of change. What is the problem, how it is creating vulnerability of the community, and what is the outcome of this problem. And we have conducted this study based on these objectives, analyzing climate factors and assessing the magnitude and impacts of extreme and slow onset events that increase the vulnerability of the people, resulting in impacts on the ecosystem, livelihood, and migration patterns in the study urban location. There is some issues like ecosystem, livelihood, migration patterns we have found out from the field level. Enhancing the understanding of climate change impact as key drivers of ecological, social, and economic vulnerability, and then identify and prioritize the potential adaptation actions to avoid adverse impact of climate change for the respective urban areas. This was our study area. Just we in the proposal or in the presentation, you have to develop a study area map. This is essential for the evaluator who will evaluate your proposal. This is the most important, so we have to develop a map. Our study, there was it is detailed out in our proposal, but there is a short presentation, and this was the we have planned 1 year study for the different urban areas. There was a preparatory phase, the detailed assessment phase, and final reporting phase. And in the preparatory phase, we have conducted desk review, related policy documents we have reviewed, and also we have reviewed our existing project documents from different organizations, and also our local government policy documents, national government policy documents related to climate change, related to urban development, related to disaster, livelihood, blah, blah. There are a lot of documents. So we have to put what types of policy documents, what types of strategy and action plans, and what types of scientific articles we have to review. Then these have to insert in your proposal. Then we have organized a workshop with the donor to finalize the study protocols, and then we have submitted the our total study plan in inception report. There is a lot of documents we have reviewed, and we have mentioned here. In the methodology part, there was a secondary data collection and review. This is mainly focused on climatic information, temperature, rainfall, humidity, wind speed, etc., etc. We have collected from the secondary source, especially in Bangladesh. There are a lot of information we have collected from Bangladesh Meteorological Department, Department of Disaster Management, and also other institution, Water Development Board, Department of Public Engineering, local government institutions. They have provided a lot of documents to understand the scenario of the specific urban areas. And I have previously mentioned, we have reviewed the related policies. And whenever you will submit a proposal to national or international donors, they will always like to understand what is your knowledge about these specific issues. In Bangladesh, there are a lot of policy documents. So we know for which study, what types of policy we need to review. And every study goes to the policy relevant issues. And whenever we have conducted this study, we are influencing local government and also national government to take over these study findings for urban resilience. So what is the gap in our policy documents? We have inputted that. Then our donor has accepted this proposal. And also there are some other data collection tools, household survey for the study. There are a lot of household survey we have conducted, focus group discussion, key information interview. In Bangladesh, for the first time, we have introduced soil and water sample collection for understanding water quality, understanding soil quality in rural and urban areas, because people depends on agriculture in rural and urban area. There are some urban areas there agriculture is perfect for farming. In Bangladesh, there was a soil related information government has generated in 1988. Within these 40 years, there is no updated information, but people are undertaking cultivating crops based on the soil parameters on 1988. So now we are we have introduced the generation of real-time soil and water information from different sources. So this is one of the value addition for us to our donors always look something new in our proposal, and they feel interest to fund us. And none of the organization in Bangladesh is working on these issues, soil and water sample collection, analysis, and decision support for farmer or drinking water. So they get something new in our proposal, and they are interested to fund us. And heat wave and cold wave vulnerability index we have developed under this, and all of the climate related research project we developed cold wave and heat wave vulnerability index for specific urban and rural areas. In rural area, heat wave and cold wave is risky for crop production, livestock, and poultry. So now we can give decision support for livestock farmer or crop farmer or poultry rearer. So when the pest and disease can increase for their crops, or what types of disease their livestock can affect in which season. So this decision support we are providing, and donor also get this interesting innovation, so they're interested to fund us. And there is some other methodology. There is the our long-term climate observation data we have analyzed, collected, and we have analyzed. So I think in research development research project, you need to analyze the long-term climatic parameters to understand the previous scenario of the climate change, and also projection in future, what types of scenario is coming within short time and what types of intervention we need to take. For example, now in Bangladesh, we have found in the last 30 years, our temperature is rising almost 0.02 degrees Celsius. But in projection says in the next 30 or 40 years, it will increase more than 0.05 degrees Celsius. So we need to consider in our next 30 or 40 years our different development intervention considering this temperature, because temperature is responsible for crop production, temperature is responsible for livestock, temperature is responsible for our infrastructure also, communication infrastructure, household infrastructure. Everything is related to temperature, rainfall, or any other extreme events also. So we need to understand the previous scenario, and we need to understand the projected scenario to develop the adaptive measures in deep multi-sectoral. And there is a lot of documents we have analyzed. I have previously mentioned, and these are related to our climate change. These are related to urban issues. These are related to livelihood. These are related to communication, etc., etc. Then we have collected we have applied different data collection tools, like I have previously mentioned, and as usually we get 384 or 390 sample size whenever we use the statistical formula. But always you have to think, is it representative for the study area? For example, in Dhaka, there is almost 20 million people. But whenever we will apply our statistical formula, then we will get only 300 or 400 sample for interview. So it is not valid, statistically valid to only cover 300 or 400 respondents to take decision on urban issues of the Dhaka City Corporation or capital city. So you have to use power, you have to use design effect to increase the number of sample, and margin error also you can sense to increase your number. Then it will be valid. It will depend on you, your funding size, your time duration, and also your study motto. If you want to influence your policymakers, then your study sample should be larger scale sample. And there is a FGD. It depends on different issues in urban areas. We have developed gender segregated adaptation practices. So there is a male, female, youth, person with disability. We have conducted FGD with those. And key from interview, this is a local level to national level. All of the policymakers, all of the government project implementers, all of the influential non-government organizations we have interviewed to take their opinion regarding our study also. And we have developed mainly as a social research. Most of the organizations just only collect information on questionnaire, survey, focus group, and key information interview. But we apply some academic issues here. For example, all of the urban areas, we have developed our existing land use pattern, and also we analyze a digital elevation model applied to understand our waterlogging scenario, our flooding scenario, and we have developed our future land use plan considering these waterlogging and surface runoff for each of the urban area. And we have also developed our drainage pattern planning considering the surface runoff. In Bangladesh, recently we have found within 3 days more than 600 millimeter flood in Chittagong, Feni, Noakhali, Lokhimpur. So our urban drainage is not capable to run of these rain precipitation within short time. So we have developed these future scenario and also provided a plan considering these short time rainfall scenario, and hopefully government will recently apply our drainage planning for project implementation. And there is our salinity. And we also develop multi-hazard risk assessment for the not only this study for all over the Bangladesh. We have already developed multi-hazard risk assessment zone. We have found the previous there are a lot of errors in the Bangladesh government documents, so we have fully developed this scenario and climate scenario development. We have applied agent-based modeling to find out the climate displacement at specific location. This is also new in Bangladesh. None of the organization is applying agent-based modeling to find out the climate displaced people. So for the first time we have applied, and our donor also interested. These studies funded by KfW Germany, and they are very impressed on our methodology and on our research findings and also our report. There are some other issues we have captured, but I think I have a limited time at this moment. So these issues I have just like to mention here. Whenever you will develop any research proposal for national or international donors, you have to capture all of the related issues, and also you need to provide something new idea which is important, which will make interest for your donor to fund you. And whenever your donor find that your proposal is different than any other organization who have submitted your proposal, so then it will be easy for you to get the fund from the donor from nationally and internationally. And this is my observation and my experience from the last couple of years. And I can say in the last couple of years, our success rate is almost 80%. Whenever we will submit 100 proposal, but our achievement rate is almost 80%, because the donor gets something new, some innovative idea in our proposal, and they also get some innovative intervention in our report also. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And any question from any end? Any question? Would you like to ask any question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask the question myself, Biswajit. I just wanted to ask, so whenever we are preparing the proposal, do we need any kind of RFP
Yeah.
or SOP?
Usually we develop two types of proposal. One is our idea, and we develop this proposal based on our experience, based on our community need, and submit to donor. And another is we follow RFP of the donors. Whenever they provide any RFP, then we develop based on this RFP. And in that case, in both types of proposal, donor gets something new. In our proposal, it's not only development field proposal, because now there are a lot of organizations working in nationally and globally, but they want something new, because in terms of implementation project or in terms of research project, in Bangladesh, people only apply questionnaire survey, FGD, KAI, but we apply some technological methodology here. So they feel interest to fund us. So in both proposal, whenever you will develop your own idea or you will follow RFP, I would like to request you to develop something new idea, new methodology input there. Then your achievement rate will increase.
Yeah, thank you. Another thing, whenever we are preparing the proposal, so do we need second research method, or only we'll prefer only whatever available in the whatever we have done the research from our end? Yeah, we can prefer the second research whatever what are available in the internet or any other research documents. Can we add?
Both information is required because you have to analyze secondary information and available in the public domain and also primary information for the people's perception. Both is important.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Maybe there is no question. So I have to leave now because today is my organization birthday.
Okay.
And many of my guests are waiting for me.
So you can also add us.
Are you interested?
Oh, we can join. Okay.
Uh,
Thank you, Ranada, and because these are important when we are submitting the proposal. So what kinds of things we have to look after, and with your entire presentation, the one point it is important that the funding agency, the donor agency wants to something different, but the new things are there, how you are going to there. So that help to make a difference from other proposal, and it become easier to get the funding and to impress the funding agencies and other. And also you mentioned that when you are preparing the project report, that time also something new ingredient is required. That is obviously. So we'll be a little bit discuss on those issues, but thank you for joining us. And I'm sure that participant got a lot of insight from this proposal writing and proposal, and most of the proposals you are getting from the various funding agencies, international agencies. So they will get some idea on that. And on behalf of GFSRD, on behalf of the participant, we also wish your organization CPs for the 6th birthday, right? So 6th birthday of CPE. Thank you for joining. And if anything required, again we will catch. And in the meantime, you please prepare for your visa to come here as early as possible, because you are going abroad also. Okay, thank you, Ranada. Hello. Hello. Okay. So today we had two sessions, back-to-back two sessions, on one on stakeholder management, one is project management, project formulation, particularly the research project consultancy, not the academic research project, the consultancy research project. So you got that two views from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and a lot of projects they are submitting. And today, as he was mentioning, the CP is celebrating uh, 6 year, I mean, Bharatiya Television is a foundation. They fund them. It's a good that we can get for this session, and also Tapas and Chakraborty, both of them share their thought and their idea. And okay, in the meantime, if you have any question, you please ask me, and accordingly we'll proceed for the next day also. So any question from me related to this two topic?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So research proposal is a research proposal. When we talk about the research proposal formulation, research proposal itself help us. Sorry. It is important to get the fund from the funding agencies, and as you mentioned, there is a general RPF and expression of interest. Sometimes
দাদা আসছেন কবে আপনি? এলেন কবে?
বৃহস্পতিবার রাতে মানে শুক্রবার আছি।
স্যার, রানা স্যার কি লিভ করেছেন?
না, আসি আমি।
ও আচ্ছা।
দাদা কই? আমি লিভ করবো এখন।
ছিল, তবে আপনাকে খুঁজছিল আর কি। হ্যাঁ,
ও আচ্ছা
কোয়ারি করছিল। জি,
আচ্ছা, আমি লিভ করবো এখন। তাই দাদাকে বলবেন আসলে আমি লিভ করছি।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
ওকে।
জি, সালাম আলাইকুম।
Sorry. Okay, so today we have just finished our 2 sessions related to stakeholder management and research project proposal. And tomorrow, once again, we will come back and we have to back-to-back 2 sessions on that. And one related to formulation of research proposal and how we are going to formulate the research proposal and academic research proposal. And second on this, the research project management. So tomorrow we'll meet again. Thank you very much. Any question, anything?
Sir,
Yeah.
yeah, sir, one message I want to convey to you from Dr. Rana. He already left, just for your kind information.
No, he left away. Even there was
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sudden call drop, so I was also out. From that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you once again, and good night for that.
Sir.